Good afternoon, all. To TEDx, thank you very much. I think this is very impressive for me to have come here this morning, seeing the type of people sitting here, Africans of this generation. This is the defining moment for our continent. My name is Kola Karim, and what I do is simple. The focus of our future in talking to you is on entrepreneurship. Because I don't think whatever we all do, whatever we all say, Africa would ever come out of the doldrums till we build the generation of African entrepreneurs that will define the jobs, that will create income, create revenue, and build people and sustaining businesses that will pay the taxes to grow Africa. Entrepreneurship, for me, is seen as three silos, the three silos of entrepreneurship. First, the defining position of it is in financial services. If you look at the continent's growth, financial services from when you and I was born 20, 30, 15 years ago to what it is today, you will see there's been a considerable change from then and now. And it's catching up because Africa is doing the same. If you look at it, there's different types of services provided in payment methods and methodology on the continent. Same as you see in the West. You go to Kenya, you see it. You go to Nigeria, go to Ghana. It tells you something. Africa's time is now. We have 1 billion people, 53 countries, different diverse languages and cultures. But one principle, the unifying principle, is this. We want to be successful as other people. That's key. The second defining silo for Africa is infrastructure. No matter what you or I say for this continent, one thing is important. If there are no good roads, if there's no power, if there's no proper health service, how do you define this generation called Africans? The last silo is fast-moving consumer goods, which I think is the jet era. Think about it. No matter what you say on the continent, 1 billion people gives you 1 billion market. That means toothpaste, they want to brush their teeth. That means soap, they want a bath. So it tells you the level in all what I say to you now in these three silos. Here lies the opportunities for us as a people. I hear too many people talk about, oh, but Africa has this problem, Africa has that problem. No. Here lies the opportunities in those three segments that you call and you see on the continent of Africa. Very simple. Think about this. I was at a talk about a month ago and someone said to me, I am thinking of moving back to Africa. I am thinking with my sister, putting money together to start a holiday resort. I said, steady on. Steady on. See, we should never forget the basics on the continent. Think about it this way. We've just finished a report in my new love, which is food, QSR business. Nigeria sells 1 million pies a day. Pies. Think about it. If you and I can grow that into a business for 1 billion market potential, you can understand how big a business you can grow. Here lies the opportunities. Think about water. Have you not noticed how much bottled water is important to Africa as well? All of a sudden you see the sachet-packed water. You see different funny-shaped bottles of water. Here lies the opportunities. Is there enough? No. Simple stuff, water business. How many confectionery businesses have you come across in Africa? There's tons, but there's opportunities for more. We spend our time sitting on this side of the fence trying to create what is not there. All you've got to look for in entrepreneurship is the simple stuff. That's what makes it. As an African, We've got businesses in Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, Kenya, and recently Angola. But yet, sitting on this side of the fence in Europe, people tell you in America, oh, Africa's corrupt. There is corruption everywhere. But one reality you must understand is this: the values that you bring to doing business on the continent. That's the difference. One of the greatest drivers for me that I want to share with you is you and I need to find what our true north is. That's our true story as a people. Because the reality to this continent, to Africa, is this: if you and I think it properly and do it properly, there will be changes, and the difference will show. It's that simple. I remember 20, 25 years ago, how many QSR businesses do you see, McDonald's type businesses on the continent of Africa? But today, drive through Ghana, Lusaka, Bulawayo, Lagos, Ibadan, you'd see them. It's not too far. It's there. The opportunities you must always realize is this: here lies a continent with 1 billion people, with the fastest growing economies of the world today. Whilst Europe and America decouples, Africa is projected to grow at about 3 to 7%. Isn't that amazing? And that's the continent called the Dark Continent. It's strange. Think about it this way: the biggest cocoa plantations are on the continent of Africa. Yet how many chocolate factories sits there? The biggest gold mines, diamond mines, sits on the continent of Africa. Under the soils that you toil, our fathers toil. Yet how many jewelry making factories are there? The rubber plantations comes from Africa. Reality is, how many tire factories sits there? They tell you the cost is too high, they close it. But what I want to say to you all is, here lies the opportunities for us. You don't need much innovation. All you need is determination, focus to making it one. I sat behind there listening today to the impressive collection of Africans who stood before you to tell you about our continent. The continent that we share, because if you don't have that love for that continent, you wouldn't be here this morning. But the reality to make the changes to 1 billion lives on the continent is for you to realize the opportunities of what we need and what we can achieve as a people. That, and here lies your true north. For me, what did we do? We realized early enough, in these 3 silos, there are going to be opportunities. But the key position for us is we leverage on what is traditionally there so you don't reinvent the wheel. Don't think Africa that we have to go and recreate it. No. Think about mobile telephony. In 1987-88, mobile telephone in this country was the size of a briefcase. But when mobile telephones came into Africa, here we're meant to be backward. We were using, day one, the same type of phones as in Europe and North America. Isn't that amazing? It tells you, as Africans, we can leapfrog technology. So it tells you in your thinking, trying to find your true north, the reality is, you can pinpoint it, because you can leapfrog technology in as much as Africa as a continent is growing. That's the key. The key to unlocking those natural resources sitting under the soils of Africa is by you and me being able to interface and creating a product that the market of 1,000 or 1 billion people require. Then we can fill the gaps. It's not easy. But the reality is, always think in every position that you're told that there's no power, there is no good roads, this is wrong, that is wrong. The negatives, you need to turn into a positive. Here lies your true north. Because the exposure we have received here, if we could implement that with determination on the continent, the reality is building a formidable, sustainable business will work. We're in the power business. I sit back and people tell me, we're looking at a power project. We're talking of a dark continent here, trying to build a power plant. Then you've got the IFC, the World Bank. They tell you, but you need this amount of being green. It's great. I love it. It's green. But tell me, how many green power plants do you have in the United Kingdom? But yet, I have no electricity. I want to build one, but I'm being told it's got to have 22% green around it. It's okay. But the key is, we understand. You and I know the difference. The difference is we are determined to making our continent a better place. Entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is just that act of being able to identify a market and try to tie a product that you could devise to fit that market. That's the act of entrepreneurship. Simple. You being able to creating something and finding a market at this end, merging them and putting them together. That's what creates something. See, the greatest key for us, we saw opportunities that I'm going to share with you because every day we all walk past it. And being exposed to these countries, so many countries in the West, you see these opportunities by day. The reverse is happening now on the continent. All the global corporations sitting on the soil of Africa have this big fear, corporate governance. They have this big fear, don't give bribe. It's fine. But the opportunity for you is what we have done. We started approaching them. I've got a team in the office, research team, and every major name sitting on the continent, we approached them and said, listen, you've got a business in Ghana. Why don't you do this? You have this fear of Ghanaians. You have the fear of Africans. Why don't we buy into your business with you? Then you could have an African face to run the business properly. And believe you, more often than not, they all bite it. We've built a fantastic business of over 5,000 people in 7 countries, and all tied to international brand names. Here lies the opportunities. See, the key is this. It's going to be difficult for a lot of global companies to do business on the continent. But would that be difficult for you? No. Because 1, you know the continent. 2, you understand the people. 3, you understand the cultures. And more importantly, you could drive the business. Think about the 3 silos. Think about the opportunities that lies in those 3 silos. From financial services, anything to do with financial services is an opportunity on the continent. You've got a market of unbanked people, and there's 1 billion of them. Anything to do with infrastructure. Here lies opportunities. There's 1 billion people who needs good roads, health, education. Here lies the opportunities. Look at fast-moving consumer goods. Here's 1 billion market who will probably love eating biscuits if you start manufacturing biscuits of good quality. Think of 1 billion people who love chewing gums. If you decide to create an African gum, this is the opportunity. I think the reality about our continent is this. We spend too long trying to listen what people say about us as a people. I think we should spend most of our time in what we want the world to see us as a dedicated, focused, committed people to a continent called Africa that will be successful and prosperous because you and I say so. It's very interesting. I've always kept something in mind. Barack Obama started, yes, we can. And that went a long way. But what I will always want to say to you today, it's not about what we can do, it's about yes, we will. Ladies and gentlemen, TEDx, thank you very much. Thank you.